Omar Suleiman, he's got this great episode that talks about how Abu Sufyan converted to Islam,
Hmm.
and it's incredible. I highly
Hmm.
recommend people check that out.
Okay, so.
There's a counterintuitive approach I have sometimes when I have this kind of a conversation with people. What if Netanyahu became a Muslim?
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be the craziest plot twist?
Hmm.
Because it feels like with everything going on in the world, we're living in a Marvel movie or something.
Hmm. Yeah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Uh, no, that would be, uh, and like you said, we have historical context where, like, none of this is outside the realm of, the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Uh, but in the moment in practice, it's almost like,
It's crazy to think about.
yeah, and then it's like, I'm sure there are some of us who have it in our hearts. Perhaps we're making dua that Allah guides Netanyahu to Islam and away from his oppression. And then there will be some of us who in our hearts are making dua that Allah destroys him in this world and the next. And I think perhaps that's up to people's hearts and their capacities and what they how they view or what they feel. But subhanallah, like you said, we have a historical context, so we can't dismiss or say that it's a negative to do that. As long as people's actions are irrespective of which dua they're making, as long as their actions are focused on stopping the oppression. But it's a beautiful concept to think about, this idea of the mercy that we hold in our hearts, subhanAllah. Even in the hypothetical that you mentioned about Abu Sufyan converting, and then about Netanyahu, if he were to convert. And to me, the key like distinction would be in the word of a Muslim is what? The definition is the one who submits, right? That to me is the key definition. Is would a person converting to Islam actually submit, or would he simply say, I am now a Muslim? And that to me is the scariest thing to think about in this day and age. Because subhanAllah, we're seeing more and more celebrities become Muslim. But what's happening is because we've put them on these high pedestals, and I'm talking just like the average celebrity or elite or whatever it is, we put them on these high pedestals, and we're not letting Islam guide us. We're letting our relationship to viewing them on a high pedestal guide us. So if a big figure we know is converts to Islam, we begin to take their information and their takes as if they're representing Islam in their takes, as opposed to someone who is, subhanAllah, could be not Muslim, but the things they're saying are more Muslim than that person. And so it's like not to judge them, but it's more so like we have to be grounded and acknowledge. And then we know there are governments that call themselves Muslim at this exact moment, whose actions are the exact opposite of what a Muslim should be doing. And so it's this like, constant battle for us to not fall into following identities of who calls themselves Muslims, but instead rooting ourselves in submission in practice. That submission to
Yeah,
Allah is actually a true freedom, which people can see is a contradiction.